Hello, my name's Sophie Renshaw. I'm a viola player and in the London Mozart Players viola section. I'm very grateful to the London Mozart Players for inviting me to introduce for you today my folk collaboration. We call ourselves Erendelle, and you're about to hear our first album that was just released very recently. We are made of three groups. So there's string trio, which is Lucy Russell on violin, myself on viola, and Ruth Phillips on cello. And we came together to explore playing Bach's Goldberg variations on Baroque setup. So we used gut strings and Baroque bows and tried to explore the sound world of that music from that point of view. And as we were doing this, we realized we all love folk music, and we're all very interested in the crossover between folk and Baroque, in the sense that extemporization and improvisation is integral to both forms. And really the distinction between the performer and the composer is a lot more blurred. In performance practice of Baroque music, very often through improvising, you can become more of a composer in the moment. And of course, in all folk music, the distinction really doesn't exist. So at the same time as working on the Bach, we met James and Sam Gillespie. In fact, I'd been introduced to their music and loved their songs so much that I called them up and asked them if I could try arranging a couple of songs for the string trio to play with them. And luckily they liked what I did, so we have gone on to do more. And then Ruth, who lives in Provence, introduced us to Tant Que Li Siam, who are a Provencal vocal polyphonic trio. They write all their own material. They are Marie-Madeleine Martinet, Leccia, and Damien Toumi. They research into Occitanie culture, the old Occitanie poetry, language. They all sing in Occitan, not in French, and the folklore, and they bring all this to life in their own music. And I love their music so much that I offered to try arranging that too. And the result was what you are about to hear on this album. Brothers Gillespie and Tant Que Li Siam share a common love of the landscape in which they grew up and in which they found themselves, and they write about the ordinary lives of ordinary people in these landscapes, and it brings it to life and ties it all together in a beautiful way.
With fee, born into obligation to be a kind of slave, just a toil for a master, some shelter and a grave, but something burned within that no bondage could erase, and I tended my flame down in the valley.
I'm Sam Gillespie, and together with my brother James we form the folk duo the Brothers Gillespie from the village of Wall in the North Tyne Valley in Northumberland. And we are singers, guitarists, instrumentalists and writers of songs and words. And for us this project, Erendelle, came about through some blessed twists of fortune, beginning with Sophie Renshaw being introduced to our songs and writing these amazing string arrangements played so beautifully by Sophie and Lucy and Ruth from Trio Myrthos. And then we found ourselves spending some very, very dreamy days in the summer of 2019 in Provence, near the Ventoux mountain, with Trio Myrthos and also with Tant Que Li Siam, a vocal trio singing in Provencal. And we were also really struck by the wild elemental beauty of their music and their energy, and we spent some days together and we made music together, and we also did a concert in a chapel on a night that has become for us quite legendary. And then a little further down the line, in the winter near Christmas, Marie-Madeleine and Mario and Damien from Tant Que Li Siam braved the northern winter and came over here, and we did a record together of the music that we had played together so far in a really lovely home studio in the countryside south of Edinburgh with the wonderful Tim Lane. And between these journeys of the summer and the winter, it felt like we were starting to open some channels and weave some threads between our different homelands.
L'oreille empire muntaciva e come l'an arrivo dava waciva e messa lunghe spasa arriva dei lava.
Hello, my name is Damien Toumi. I'm an Occitane and French folk singer from the south of France, and also member of the Provencal polyphonic trio called Tant Que Li Siam, that is also composed with Marie-Madeleine Martinet and Mario Leccia. So, Tant Que Li Siam is a vocal trio based around the famous mountain from the south of France in Provence called Le Mont Ventoux. And we decided just to sing in the language of the region that actually is not French, but is a language called Provencal. And especially we decided to compose our own vocal music, singing the popular poems that we've been collected all around the mountain. At one moment, we met also Ruth Phillips, cellist from the Myrthos trio, and we began to share music and thoughts and dreams together and became friends. And last summer, she invited us to meet the Myrthos trio with Lucy and Sophie and her, and the Brothers Gillespie, and try to give a concert in a little church in a little village around the Mont Ventoux called Bedouin. So we had a few hours meeting, talking together and rehearsing a little. And finally, we managed to make a very nice concert, very nice moment in this church, very emotional one also for the audience that was there. And we realized that we had a lot of things to share in common. So we decided to go on and to create this project with these 8 musicians called Erendelle. And I think that for Tant Que Li Siam, the thing that is very strong in this project is to see how mixing all our different deep-rooted cultures and languages and the way to make music and to see the world can make all of us, each of us, more rich with experience and knowledge and humanity. So that's why we want just to go on with this project and see which kind of music we can begin to create together with all of these influences.
Beyond the named things and the certainty of the strip light, I found you keeping your secret. I found you were speaking to my heart, and your mouth never moved. Truth cannot speak, but in green words it gives birth to dances and universes. Alone there, I pray, to bend my ear right down to hear the original songs.
Land of singing waters, winds from off the sea, bring me to Northumberland, the land where I would be. Bring me to Northumberland, the land where I would be. Land of singing waters, winds from off the sea.
The name Erendelle, Erendelle or Erendelle in Provencal, comes from the name for the swallow. And we were sort of thinking about these channels and these threads, and the swallow sort of resonated with us as this wild being who makes this great journey from Africa across the Mediterranean, across Europe and up to our misty islands in the north. And it doesn't care about borders. It crosses lands and seas, and somehow it connects our places and it connects our homelands. And somehow this sense of singing from a place, in a way a rooted place, but looking out to the lands of others, to the lands of strangers or of friends in whom we see ourselves reflected, that's part of the dream of this project. And it's sort of a mystery that's still unfurling between us, but we're really excited to find out where it takes us, and we're very happy to be relating to this unfurling mystery.
The fish shall fly and the sea run dry, and the rock shall melt all in the sun, and the labouring hand shall forget his labour, if ever I return again. And I'll put my ship in order, and I'll set her on the sea, and I'll sail her my true love waits for me. And
Après Starai, la miunau, de matin, l'embarcarai. Adiu l'estaca, e mai non stau, au large, es mon amour verai.